This podcast is sponsored by ScienceBasedLearning.com. Discover your passion for languages with our innovative ebook, audiobook, and video system. Maximize retention using spaced repetition. Start your journey today.
How poetry-driven language skills improve adult language learning. Discover how poetry enhances adult language learning by boosting pronunciation, vocabulary retention, and emotional engagement in language acquisition. How poetry can supercharge your language skills. When you think about learning a new language, you might picture grammar drills, vocabulary flashcards, or listening to repetitive podcasts. But there's an often overlooked creative method that taps into the heart of language itself: poetry. Yes, poetry, those rhythmic, expressive lines that stir emotions and paint vivid images, can be a powerful tool for adult language learning. Let's explore how poetry-driven language skills can help boost your language acquisition and make your studying more engaging and effective. Why poetry matters in language learning. Poetry is essentially language distilled to its purest form. It combines rhythm, sound, and meaning into a compact, memorable package. When you work with poetry, you're not just reading words, you're experiencing language's musicality and emotional depth. This can dramatically improve key aspects of your language learning. Pronunciation and intonation. Poems have rhythm and often rhyme, which naturally trains your ear to pick up the subtle rises and falls in speech. Vocabulary and context. Instead of memorizing isolated words, poetry introduces new terms with vivid imagery and rich context, making them easier to remember. Grammar through use. Poems often play with sentence structure and grammar in creative ways, helping you become more comfortable with language patterns. Memory and retention. The rhythmic and repetitive nature of poetry sharpens your recall, a key component in language acquisition. Think about it like this. Not every student learns by just reading or listening. Some need to see or do. AR breaks down those barriers by integrating seamlessly into a student's personal learning environment. It's kind of like having a tutor who understands exactly how you learn and adapts the lesson to fit your style in a super interactive way. Research in the science of language learning highlights the importance of repetition, emotional engagement, and multi-sensory input for effective language acquisition. Poetry ticks all these boxes. Repetition. Repeated sounds and structures in poetry support spaced repetition, which is proven to enhance long-term retention of language. Emotional connection. When a poem resonates emotionally, your brain creates stronger neural connections, making words and phrases stick better. Multisensory learning. Reading aloud, listening, and even memorizing poems engage different parts of the brain, fostering a deeper understanding. Combining these elements leads to more natural and intuitive language learning than rote memorization methods often used in adult language learning. How to use poetry effectively for language skills. If you're wondering how to learn a language with poetry, here's a simple approach that anyone can try. Choose poems tailored to your level. Start with short, simple poems or children's verses if you're a beginner. Gradually work your way up to more complex poetry as your skills grow. Read aloud and listen. Reading poetry aloud improves pronunciation and fluency. You can also find audio recordings to hear poems spoken by native speakers. Break down the poem. Analyze unfamiliar words, phrases, and grammar structures. Write down translations and spend time understanding the meaning behind each line. Memorize in small chunks. Use repetition to memorize stanzas or lines. This enhances retention and builds your speaking confidence. Create your own poems. Writing simple poems in your target language encourages active use of vocabulary and grammar, deepening your language skills. Integrating poetry into your language routine. For adult language learners, boredom and frustration often creep in. Poetry adds variety and fun to the often repetitive routines many of us follow. You don't have to set aside hours to benefit. Even just 10-15 minutes a day can work wonders when paired with other language learning methods. Technology makes it easier than ever. You can find apps, websites, and audiobooks dedicated to poems in almost every language. Combining poetry with science-backed learning approaches really maximizes your effort. Boost your learning with science-based tools. Speaking of science-backed methods, if you want to accelerate your language acquisition, consider a system that uses research-proven techniques. check out sciencebasedlearning.com, which offers a simple ebook, audiobook, and video language learning system combined with an online practice app that leverages the science behind spaced repetition to maximize your learning and retention. Integrating poetry practice with a structured, science-driven program like this allows you to enjoy the emotional and creative benefits of poetry while ensuring your efforts are efficient and measurable. Final thoughts. Incorporating poetry into your language learning journey is both enjoyable and effective. It helps you connect emotionally, sound more natural, and retain vocabulary and grammar in a way that textbooks alone seldom achieve. Whether you're a beginner or an advanced learner, making poetry a part of your routine can reinvigorate how you learn a new language. Ready to enhance your language skills while tapping into the art of poetry? Start small, be consistent, and combine creativity with science for the best results. And don't forget, resources like sciencebasedlearning.com are designed to support adult language learning with practical, science-driven tools that complement your poetic explorations perfectly.